Welcome to the Health by Haven podcast. I'm your host, Haven Quinlan. If you're a multi-passionate wellness enthusiast, then you're in the right place. I'm obsessed with learning as much as I can about the wellness world, and I want to share that with you. Each episode will dive into various aspects of health and wellness through inspiring and informative guest interviews with some solo episodes thrown in. Tune in for all things health, and let's have some fun, shall we? Welcome back to the Health by Haven podcast. Hope you all are doing well and you had a great weekend. Billy and I went up to Johnson City this past weekend to visit his family, and it was just a lot of good downtime hanging out together, and we did some family walks with the dogs. Billy and I ran with our dog Waffles one morning. It was a very much needed slow down weekend. So hope you all are going into the week feeling rested and re-energized for the week ahead. I wanted to get on here today and give you guys a quick solo episode on how to set yourself up for success each week. I've been thinking about this a lot lately since the past several months now. I am no longer working from home. I've been going into a physical space to work. And so it's been requiring a little bit more thoughtfulness ahead of time than I had a little more flexibility when I was working from home to think about things like food or workouts or things like that. So I know this is a common struggle for a lot of people who are trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle when things get super busy and hectic. I know we're all always so busy and running around, and things can start to feel overwhelming. So I wanted to give you guys some tools to set yourself up for success each week so that you can feel your absolute best. So let's get into it. A huge part of me and my husband, Billy, setting ourselves up for success each week is meal planning and meal prep. And before you X out of this episode, I know meal prep is a topic that can be so over talked about and also sometimes controversial if people are like, oh, I don't want to spend my entire Sunday prepping my meals for the week. Hear me out. I have some tips for you guys, and I promise you, planning ahead before you go to the grocery store and then spending a little bit of time prepping some of your meals for the week is going to save you so much time and so much decision fatigue in the long run. So, what we like to do in our family is talk usually on Friday afternoon about what we want the next week's worth of meals to look like. This is when we also kind of go over each other's calendars. Oh, you have this work event this night. Oh, you have this thing for class. My husband's in law school. You have this thing for class this night, whatever it may be. We have a friend dinner. We have a family dinner, things like that. So planning out what your next week is going to look like together. So if you have a family, if you have kids, you can sit down with your entire family as well and do this together. But planning out when you're all going to be home for dinner, what you might want those dinners to look like. So typically for the week, I will pick one breakfast that I want to have each week, one lunch that I want to have for the week, and then dinners Billy and I will plan together, and it'll be a new dinner each night. That's just what works for us. I'll give you a couple other options as well. But for me, I like to have a consistent breakfast to start off my day. And so lately I've been really into yogurt bowls. That has been super easy to prep at the beginning of my week. Literally, those take 5 minutes. I have multiple yogurt bowl recipes on my website if you'd like to take a look, if you're into yogurt bowls. And I always pick a vegan yogurt because I don't love the dairy on my stomach, but you do what works best for you. All I would say is if you're buying yogurt, flip it around, look at the ingredients list, try to avoid the ones with a ton of added sugars. You can get the natural sweetness in there other ways that won't spike your blood sugar as well, such as putting berries in there. Maybe you put a tiny bit of maple syrup or some dates, things like that, rather than just a bunch of added sugar in there. So I always buy the unsweetened version. Just a little side note. A couple weeks ago, I was really into overnight oats. So I prepped a whole week of those at the beginning of my week. That's also super fast, easy meal prep. I have tons of overnight oat recipes on my website and Instagram as well, healthbyhaven.com. And then prior to that, a few months ago, I was really into egg bakes, which I know eggs are so expensive right now. So don't come for me. You can save the egg bakes to when hopefully the price of eggs go down a little bit. But that's another great way to get easy protein. You can stuff it full of veggies. You can cook an entire tray, or you could pour them into like little muffin tins and make kind of like a copycat Starbucks egg bite. So much cheaper than buying those out. You can pack it with whatever flavors you want and nutrients you want, and you don't have to have any of the other additives and preservatives that they have to do with those mass production to keep them fresh. So those are all go-tos for me for breakfast that are easy to prep. You cook it once or you prep it once and you have it all week, and they're delicious and they're filling and they're nutritious. I also, you guys know, if you know me at all or follow me online, I love a smoothie. So when I'm in a week where I'm making smoothies, I like to make my own nut milk because it doesn't have all the gums and additives and stabilizers in it. I try to avoid that stuff when I can. That doesn't mean I'm always perfect. Sometimes I buy regular old almond milk at the store. I also really love the brand Malk because they don't have the gums and fillers. It is a bit more expensive, so keep that in mind. But you can super easily make your own nut milk at home. I literally do 1 cup of nuts to about 4.5 cups of water and just blend it on a high-speed blender for about 4 minutes. For cashew milk, which has been my favorite lately, you don't even have to strain it. For almond milk, you do put it through a strainer, and then you can even use what comes through that strainer to make almond flour as well, so you don't have to waste. All those recipes, again, are on my website, so you can take a look. But if I'm making smoothies for the morning, I do prep that nut milk on the weekend. I have it in the fridge. It's also great if you're having cereal. It makes it like extra creamy, or if you're doing any sort of sauce where you want a creamy base. So that is great to have in the fridge as well. You can also prep, like Billy does a smoothie every morning, and he preps little jars of the powders that he adds into his smoothie. So he'll have like some protein powder, some chia seed, some milled flax seed, maybe some maca powder, different things like that. And you can look into all the benefits of those different powders if you're feeling maybe a little deficient in one area, or you want a little boost in one area. There are different benefits to each, but you can prep those ahead of time so it's faster in the morning. You can also prep little baggies, like a quart bag of frozen fruits and veggies in the freezer for the week, so that you just dump that in the blender, dump your powders in, dump your liquid in, put it on blend. Makes it super quick and easy. So those are some of my go-tos for breakfast. For lunches, I typically pick one of my salads that I've created. They're all either on my website, healthbyhaven.com, or on my Instagram at healthbyhaven. If you're looking for some inspiration to not have the same old salad that you always have, or something that's boring, I love a loaded salad. I am talking a million toppings on some form of greens. So I say have fun with it. Load it up with some good stuff: fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, all the good stuff. Sometimes I love a greens and grains bowl, especially in the winter, to have a little bit of warmth as well. So you can get creative and play around with it. There's a million people online that have great recipes. So literally you could just Google search, Pinterest search in your Instagram feed to get some inspiration and shake things up a bit. And then for dinners, that's when Billy and I normally plan out, like, we want this dinner on Monday, a different one on Tuesday, and so on and so forth. That's kind of how we like to work to keep things different each night. So some of our go-tos are pad thai bowls, breakfast burritos, or some sort of breakfast for dinner. We love a veggie pasta. We really love a fajita situation. We like to say fajita frye a lot because we know we can get some really good veggies and nutrients in that meal, but it still feels like really fun. So it feels like a fun Friday meal. Stuffed peppers. Sometimes I do a big sheet pan veggie bake and then make a big pot of grains, and I can have those over multiple days. Super easy to just pop in the microwave and reheat. So those are all like some go-to dinners. I have a bunch of recipes once again. Sound like I'm on repeat here, but you can take a look at my website if you're looking for some inspo. Those are all really quick, easy, yummy ones. And just remember to take into account if you have an event or something going on, so you're not planning a meal for that evening and then wasting your money and the food. If you get bored by having the same meal for every lunch during the week, you could also try just prepping a little bit more food for your dinner and then taking the leftovers for lunch the next day. I know some people who prefer to do that. That keeps a little bit more variation in their week. So that's another option for you. And if you don't want the same breakfast every day, like it's super easy to prep 2 yogurt bowls and 2 overnight oats bowls and then have a smoothie one day or something like that. You don't have to do the same thing every day. So just keep that in mind as well. It doesn't have to look like how an influencer's meal prep looks on Instagram, where everything is in the same perfect, cute little container and it's all like a cookie cutter, the exact same meal every day. You don't have to do it like that. Just setting yourself up for success, thinking about it before you're hungry and before you go out and spend money, so much more money buying food out than prepping it at home. And then it's usually also filled with some additives that you might not want in your diet. So those all really help set me up for success. I also like to prep the extras as well. So we already talked about the nut milk that I like to make. If it's a week where I'm wanting to have a green juice, I like to prep that at the beginning of the week as well. Super easy to grab in the morning. I have a green juice recipe online. And then I also have some snack recipes online that sometimes I like to prep. Maybe the salad, I'm like not going to feel done with my lunch without a little snack on the side, or maybe I want a little mid-morning or mid-afternoon snack. So I love a homemade granola for that. I love a little energy bite. I have recipes for those online. I love a trail mix. I have a bunch of different trail mix recipes. Like, can we stop buying the pre-made trail mix and just make your own? Like, you can buy nuts in bulk. You can buy dried fruits in bulk. If you want chocolate chips, hey, go for it. You can buy those bags, make your own. Then you're not picking out like, oh, I don't want the peanuts or I don't want the sunflower seeds. And you're only putting the stuff that you love in it. And it's so much more cost effective. Now, obviously, there's a time and a place for buying the prepackaged stuff. If you're like in a super hectic season, I think it's a great option. But I don't know. I love to have some fun with things like trail mix and try out some different flavor combos. I also am a dessert gal. I love chocolate. I love dessert. I do not think that we need to deprive ourselves of that if we're trying to live a healthy lifestyle. I just like to be mindful of what ingredients I use when I'm baking. So I don't have a ton of dessert recipes on my website. Hopefully I'll get some up for you guys. But to be honest, there's so many good ones out there that I usually just make somebody else's recipe for dessert. But I try to find some cleaner options just so it's not spiking my blood sugar as much. And I also don't love how dairy makes me feel. And so I'm usually looking for like a vegan dessert option as well. I also love the stuffed dates. I have put that up on my Instagram fairly recently. That's a super easy sweet snack that is minimal ingredients. Last thing I love to have prepped in the fridge as a snack is chopped and prepped and washed fruits and veggies. It makes it so much easier to pick a healthy snack when you've got it prepped and ready in that top shelf of your fridge versus like when you come home, you know that feeling you're like ravenous and you're like, I have to eat the first thing that's in front of me. And usually packaged foods are the go-to because they're ready to eat immediately and you don't even have to think about like, oh, I have to like wash that mango and then peel it and then chop it and all of that. Like if you prep the fruits and veggies ahead of time when you're not necessarily starving and just have them ready to go, it's so much easier to make that healthy option. Okay, that's a lot of meal prep. How are you doing? You guys still with me? All right. If your week is super busy and hectic, those weeks happen. You don't have to be perfect. Just try to plan for those quote healthier packaged snacks or pre-made foods. So some foods that I like to grab in the grocery store that are some cleaner packaged ingredients. I love Simple Mills crackers, and I'm not gluten-free. They make gluten-free crackers. They're amazing. They are a clean, minimal ingredient list. I love them. I love Perfect bars. Those you have to be refrigerated. So sometimes those can be hard on the go if you don't have access to a fridge, but it's a really high protein snack for you. I also love Purely Elizabeth granola. I think her stuff is amazing. It is cleaner ingredients. Some of them are higher in sugar, so just keep that in mind if that's something that you're trying to avoid. But she does use coconut sugar, so it doesn't spike your blood sugar quite as dramatically. And then if you're wanting to cook dinner at home still, but you don't have time to wash and peel and chop and roast all the veggies, there are so many packaged frozen veggie combos that you can get in the grocery store that all you have to do literally is put them in a steamer, steam them in the bag, put them on a tray and roast them in the oven. They make it so easy. It's just as easy as throwing in a frozen pizza. So keep that in mind. Nothing against frozen pizza. I love it every now and then, but maybe just don't make it your every night thing. Make sure you're getting those nutrients that are going to support your body as well. A lot of grocery stores also have bagged salads or pre-made salads, pre-made wraps, things like that in their deli department. So you could take a look at that if you're like, I literally do not have time to meal prep this week, but you want to have some healthier options. That's going to obviously be more expensive than making your own, but typically it's less expensive than going and like getting fast food every single day. All right, moving on from food. Next thing, plan your workouts. When is the time of day that you prefer to work out? For me, it is the morning. Same with Billy. Now, we do not have children, so we don't have to think about trading off our workout time. So I understand that that is the case for a lot of people. And in that case, sit down at the beginning of the week with your partner, with your family, and figure out, okay, this morning I'm going to go to the gym, and then this morning you're going to go on a run or something like that so that you guys feel like a good team. But for me, I like to think about each week, which days am I going to run? Which days am I going to go to Pure Barre? Which days am I going to do something different if I want to do something different? And if you're going to a fitness studio that has classes, book them in advance. Keep yourself accountable. Planning out those workouts and kind of like having fun with what the routine's going to be makes the workout so much more fun and makes it so much more likely that you're going to go do it. Also, like move with your friends, move with your family. It makes it more enjoyable as well. I also like to prep my outfits ahead of time. So the night before, I'm pulling out what outfit I'm going to work out in and I'm setting it in the bathroom. I'm also pulling out what outfit I'm going to wear to work. So right when I get home from my workout, I can shower, get dressed, get ready to go. Takes out so much decision fatigue, so much rushing in the morning. It's already prepped and ready. It's another obstacle that I don't have as an excuse in the morning to get my workout in and get moving for the day. I also like to prep my on-the-go food in the morning as well. So my big meal prep is normally on my weekend, but then the night before, I'm grinding up the coffee beans if I'm going to have coffee instead of matcha in the morning and getting that pot all set up and ready. If I'm bringing any dry snacks like a trail mix or a cracker, I'm prepping that into a little container. Any of my cold foods, I'm getting into containers in the fridge and kind of setting all in one area so I can grab it, stick it in my lunchbox, and go the next morning. That is another thing that just makes my morning less stressful because we don't want to start our day off super, super stressed. We want to like ease into the day and feel good. Okay, hanging in there. Leave time for fun and relaxation. This is so important. If you're living a rigid, quote, healthy lifestyle, but you're not having any fun, that is not healthy. Newsflash. Fun should be part of your day, every day. Even if it's super tiny, try to have fun and or try to have some relaxation time every single day. So what that looks like for you is going to be different what it looks like for me and somebody else. But for me, quality time with friends and family is super, super important. That's what fills my cup. That is my love language. So I make sure to have that in my week every week. I love to have like a official dedicated movie night or start a new show and like put the phones away and have no distractions with Billy. We enjoy having a little bit of TV or a movie night together or reading. I'm in a book club, so I like to read and get to chit chat about that with my friends. Or sometimes I'm just wanting to read something that I'm interested in as well. That also really helps calm me down before bed because I tend to get high strung and stressed, and then that affects my sleep. I love going on a daily walk with my dog. That's good for her. That's good for me. We're getting our steps in, we're clearing our mind. I like to pick active activities with friends and family as well. So I've been really enjoying pickleball lately or going on a walk and having Billy there as well. And then if you have events going on around town that you want to go to, just take a look. Like what's going on in the city that you're living in? Go to the farmer's market on the weekend. Maybe you go to a concert or a show or a sporting event. Like don't forget in your busy life when you're trying to live in a routine and a schedule to also schedule in some of that time for fun and enjoyment as well. And lastly, get in bed at a decent time. This is such an underrated part of a healthy lifestyle. I promise you, it is life-changing. Now, I know we can't always do it. I know there are people listening who probably have little tiny children and their sleep schedule is totally out of whack. So I hear that. And I know that in every season of your life, this might not be perfect. However, when you can, getting in bed just a little bit earlier than you might want to, making sure you're getting close to that 8 hours of sleep is so important. I mean, honestly, just think about it in your daily lives, those days that you wake up and you feel well rested, you're more level-headed, your emotional intelligence is intact, things don't seem quite so overwhelming or like a big deal if something goes wrong. There's also so much science to back how 8 hours of sleep helps curb your sugar cravings and keep your blood sugar steadier, helps eliminate brain fog, keeps your cortisol levels, which is that stress hormone, nice and low. Honestly, this makes it so much easier to pick that healthier food option, to commit to your workout, to commit to showing up for your loved ones in your life. I promise you, sleep is connected to everything. So if it is one thing you can start with, I'm telling you, getting that 8 hours of sleep will be life-changing if and when at all possible you can get that. All right, that was a lot. I hope this was helpful. Probably none of it is brand new information, but sometimes it takes a little kick in the butt. It takes hearing it again or in a different way to really understand how important it is to prioritize yourself, to set yourself up for success each week, even when we're like, oh, I don't want to think about my responsibilities. Sunday scaries. I don't want to spend my time meal prepping. I promise you, if you take this time out of your week to set yourself up for success, your week is going to feel so much smoother, so much less overwhelming. You're going to make those healthy options that you and your body will thank you for in the long run. Okay, you guys, I hope this helps and you can put it into action. Let me know what else you're doing to set yourself up for success each week. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. We'll see you back here next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Health by Haven podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to give the show a 5-star rating and leave a review. It makes such a huge difference in reaching new people and spreading the joy of healthy living. I would also be so appreciative if you subscribe to the show in the listening app of your choice so you never miss an episode. Your support truly means the world to me. Have a happy, healthy day, and I'll talk to you again soon.